fighting for a democracy. Fighting for a democracy. And understand the difference here. Understand the difference here. Moving forward.
When they asked her about the gun.
Yes.
And she, yeah, I got a Glock. What kind?
Yes.
And her answer was, and
Yeah.
And Those were invented by nervous white people around black people.
Tyrus just dragged Kamala Harris into the spotlight, and she's been living there for years with robotic speeches, awkward giggles, and responses that sound like riddles no one wanted answered. This isn't your average political jab. This is a brutal verbal demolition. Tyrus is tearing apart her endless rambling, fake laughs, and those cringe-worthy, inspirational performances that feel completely scripted. If her speeches ever made you confused before, just wait until you see how Tyrus exposes every single detail. You'll never listen to her the same way again.
And the VP Harris, she won't go to the border, probably because she'd rather take the magic school bus to the moon.
You guys are gonna see. You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes.
Oh my goodness.
With your own eyes, I'm telling you, it is gonna be unbelievable.
With your own eyes.
Kamala Harris has become the ultimate poster child for failing upward so hard it's like the laws of physics don't even exist anymore. Forget space travel, she's the only person to shoot straight into the vice presidency powered purely by uncomfortable laughter, confusing sentences, and a grin that screams, "Yeah, I practiced this speech in the bathroom mirror for hours."
President Kamala Harris getting mocked and criticized once again after dishing out another one of her now notoriously scrambled responses, which her critics have taken to calling a word salad. The vice president was meeting with the Jamaican prime minister, for example, when she blurted this out.
For Jamaica, one of the issues that has been presented as an issue that is economic in the way of its impact has been the pandemic. So to that end, we are announcing today also that we will assist Jamaica in COVID.
If you are enjoying this breakdown so far, please hit that like button and subscribe. It helps way more than you realize. It's like America asked, what's the absolute worst leadership tryout we could ever approve? And Kamala walked in with a resume that looks like a fever dream. Former prosecutor, part-time politician, and now, whatever this position is supposed to be. The vice presidency might be symbolic, but she's transformed it into a complete circus act. Every single time she speaks, it feels like watching a sitcom pilot so bad that even desperate TV networks refuse to air it. And that laugh, oh my gosh, that laugh! It sounds less like a confident leader and more like a panicked teenager caught red-handed on a test, desperately hoping awkward giggles will make the whole situation vanish. She could be asked about a major international crisis and still let out that same shaky chuckle you'd hear at a cookout when someone trips near the snack table. Now, picture a room filled with world leaders, and suddenly the background noise sounds like an audition tape for a cartoon supervillain.
So I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we...
Kamala talks like she's stuck in a never-ending job interview for a position she never even studied for. She strings words together like she's creating a puzzle on the spot, except she forgot she's the one making it. Listening to her speeches feels like reading a fortune cookie written by a dying robot that's about to shut down. You keep hoping for something clear to show up, but instead it drifts off into a massive motivational speech about absolutely nothing at all.
Do you regret not voicing your opinion in that moment?
Yes, and I actually have reflected on that, and I've written about that.
You know, I realized.
Would it have mattered if you did?
I don't know.
And this is the person just one heartbeat away from the Oval Office. She was supposed to deliver charisma, connection, and inspiration to the campaign. Instead, we got messaging that sounds like a broken translation app stuck on random mode. Watching her try to pump up a crowd feels like someone accidentally pressed play on a playlist called Corporate Buzzwords, 2008 edition. She throws out words like moment, importance, together, and future. Then bam, the laugh kicks in. Speech over. But this isn't just harmless awkwardness. It's complete incompetence dressed up in an expensive suit. Look at her actual record. 1 minute she's treating parents missing school like a crime wave, threatening jail time because kids skipped class. The next minute she's doing her fun aunt act, talking about empathy and compassion. That isn't personal growth, it's a total makeover. Kamala treats politics like a costume party where every single outfit gets picked by whatever the polls say that day.
I thought it was amazing that no one asked. You told the American people that President Biden was better than he ever was and you couldn't keep up with him. And then he gets pulled out of the race because he has dementia. So on the record, you are saying that a old man with dementia or whatever they want to call it, outworked you. And you were even the last person in the room. So why are you running for president again?
Then came the 2020 campaign, and what a disaster that turned out to be. She kicked off with massive hype, huge rallies, and constant noise about being the historic candidate. Then reality smacked her in the face, and voters all said the same thing. No thanks. Her presidential run crashed and burned so fast it practically disappeared in a single night. She didn't even make it to the primaries. 1 second she was promoted as the next big thing, and the next second she turned into a trivia question with no real answer. But instead of fading quietly into obscurity, she somehow scored the vice presidency. Because in Washington, epic public failure now apparently counts as valuable experience. Jump ahead to today and we're stuck with a VP who manages to be both completely invisible and painfully awkward at the exact same time. Her big job, the border crisis. Remember that mess? She was handed the responsibility of solving it, and her strategy seemed to include everything except actually showing up there. It's like hiring a lifeguard who puts their chair 3 entire blocks away from the pool. Instead, she hopped on a plane to Central America and told people not to come. Like that simple warning would magically stop migration. Oh, the vice president said don't come. Okay, I guess we'll just stay here in danger then. Absolutely brilliant.
Moving forward, she couldn't move forward from that sentence. My IQ moved backward.
Kamala Harris is basically that group project partner who does zero work but still demands to lead the entire presentation. She arrives late, adds nothing valuable, then hogs the microphone with a wandering speech that leads nowhere, and somehow giggles like she absolutely nailed it. If politics had Yelp reviews, hers would say, 2 stars, showed up, didn't accomplish anything, giggled constantly, skip this one. Her approval ratings move slower than ancient dial-up internet. Whether it's the cringy cooking video, the obviously staged photo shoots, or her repetitive "we're in the moment of this moment" speeches, everything feels like accidental comedy gold. Honestly, if late night TV didn't already exist, she could have single-handedly created the entire genre. She isn't reaching voters. She's doing improvised comedy without even knowing it. And then there's foreign policy. Sending Kamala to meet world leaders is like sending the class clown to sit down with the school principal. It's not scary. It's accidentally hilarious. Other countries must be asking themselves if America is playing a joke on them. Wait, is this for real? Did they actually send her? Picture this. Training for international diplomacy for decades, only to sit face to face with someone explaining massive global conflicts like a bedtime story for children.
There's worse things that you can say to people.
Yeah.
But I help people who harm people. God bless, good night, that's my time. That's what.
I think it's an excellent thing to acknowledge to a therapist.
Yes.
Here's the shocking truth. Kamala Harris was supposed to be the future of the Democratic Party, the rising superstar, the groundbreaker. Instead, She's turned into a giant red flag for what happens when massive hype crashes into harsh reality. She's the political equivalent of buying an expensive new device that breaks down immediately after opening the box. Shiny exterior, completely empty inside. Yet somehow, she keeps floating upward, not because she delivers results, not because anyone trusts her, but because the system absolutely refuses to let her sink. If mediocrity needed a spokesperson, she'd already be wearing the crown. She isn't shattering barriers, she's tripping over them, then cackling like that was her master plan from the start. At this point, her greatest achievement might just be keeping late-night comedy writers employed full-time. You don't even need to write jokes when real life does all the heavy lifting for you. Every single video of her talking becomes its own comedy sketch. She's the first politician whose speeches sound like they desperately need a laugh track, not because they're clever, but because without one, all that remains is pure bewilderment. Kamala Harris is what happens when politics transforms into theater, when looks matter more than actual achievements. It's flash over foundation, except the flash is uncomfortable and the foundation never even existed. America didn't elect a leader, it enrolled in an unpredictable comedy show.
I don't think Kamala will ever hold public office again.
Better not.
I don't think you can come back from. It wasn't that she was outfoxed. It wasn't that she lost. I think you can certainly lose an election and run a good election and still have.
She might think she's creating a lasting legacy, but what she's actually locking in is a permanent place as the vice president people will mock for generations to come. Forget Madam Vice President. History will probably remember her as the rambling queen, the person who giggled her way into power and chuckled every single time real responsibility appeared. Kamala Harris has become the rare political figure who makes even her own supporters cringe. Not because she's fearless or controversial, but because she's incredibly uncomfortable to watch. It's like she's physically incapable of speaking in plain English. She could describe drinking water and still make it sound like rocket science. And just when it seems like she's finally about to make a clear argument, there it comes. That laugh. The high-pitched panicked sitcom background character laugh. If presidential debates ever transformed into comedy club nights, she wouldn't even need any equipment. She'd step on stage, giggle for 5 straight minutes, and label it her official platform. That laugh is her defense mechanism, her finishing touch, her emergency exit, but most importantly, it's her giveaway. It quietly whispers, "I have no idea what I just said, and you don't either, so let's all just pretend it was hilarious."
She never saw the video.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not someone who describes a video.
Yeah.
That's someone that they handed this to her, and she was like, elephants? Oh, I'll take it from here. And then she went out there. And she was not drunk. She was hungover, because she's way worse when she's hungover. That was hungover because she kept saying the same thing over and over again.
Her defenders love claiming she's only attacked because she's a woman of color, but no, that's absolutely not the problem. The real issue is that her political judgment works like a malfunctioning GPS, always recalculating, never once arriving at any actual destination. People don't cringe because of her identity. They cringe because she's the walking, talking version of a painful office icebreaker. She previously championed policies that locked human beings up for prison labor, and voters haven't forgotten that fact. During the debates, she attempted to rebrand herself as a criminal justice warrior, but her past kept popping back up like embarrassing old photos from her social media history. Nobody bought it. Her campaign imploded faster than a cheap paper straw in hot coffee. And it wasn't only her track record that destroyed her. It was her complete failure to genuinely connect with anyone. Kamala Harris talks like she's lecturing a crowd of unpaid interns who are forced to clap. There's zero warmth, zero honesty, just perfectly memorized lines that somehow still come out twisted and garbled. When even her own team reportedly couldn't figure out what she actually believed in, you know something's seriously wrong. Imagine working for a candidate and needing to Google search your own boss's beliefs and policies. That's Kamala Harris in a nutshell.
They surrounded, and then they formed a circle. And then they got together. Go the away.
And somehow, that performance was still enough to get her the vice presidency. Not because she actually earned it, not because voters begged for it, but because the party desperately wanted a historic pick. And sure, it was historic, just absolutely not in the way anyone expected. Instead of becoming an icon of strong leadership, she's morphed into a walking disaster story about how dangerous empty symbolism can actually be. Look at her performance on the world stage. The vice president is supposed to represent America internationally, yet Kamala has turned that sacred responsibility into an accidental stand-up comedy tour. Every international video feels like watching a parody sketch. She stands beside powerful world leaders, nodding and smiling. Then suddenly launches into a confusing mess of words that sounds like a group project from someone who never did the homework. You can practically picture other world leaders flying home thinking, wait, is this seriously the best America can offer? It's genuinely embarrassing. Her massive border solution, just telling desperate people not to come, like migration could be solved with a simple, polite request. That isn't real leadership. That's basic customer service at a call center. Even her pathetic attempts to appear relatable are torture to watch. The cooking video, chopping vegetables like she's trying out for a comedy blooper compilation. Pure cringe. The obviously staged photo shoots designed to look spontaneous, but somehow feel completely fake. Absolutely painful. She has the charm and presence of a malfunctioning AI robot that constantly forgets to blink.
So powerful at the convention when you said you have guns. No, at the debate. At the debate.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun owner.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, yes, I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
my staff will deal with that later.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the first time I've ever seen Oprah Winfrey stutter.
Yeah.
She was like, what she wanted to say, remember that stupid you said at the, which, was it the debate or was it the DNC that they drew me out and Stedman's pissed, he was double parked, waiting for this. Like, she literally said nothing. She's like, if Oprah can't save you, nobody can save you.
Her approval ratings reveal everything you need to know. They aren't low because she's unfairly attacked. They're absolutely tanking because nobody is buying her performance. Her numbers live permanently stuck in the basement, and when pollsters ask how people actually feel about her, the most honest response is basically just meh. That's the actual problem here. She doesn't spark loyalty or rage. She sparks complete indifference. And indifference equals political death. Her speeches have essentially become their own comedy category. Each one is a masterclass in saying absolutely nothing with maximum fake enthusiasm. She repeats the exact same buzzwords over and over like she's chanting some magic spell, and by the end, nobody even remembers what the original question was. This is someone who totally bombed the 2020 primaries, can't even reach 40% approval, and still can't finish a complete thought without drifting into total confusion. Yet she somehow remains next in line. That's not earned merit, that's pure panic and desperation. Kamala Harris is the political equivalent of a participation trophy. She didn't actually win, she just showed up. She didn't inspire anyone. She was simply available. She didn't lead anything. She just laughed nervously through it all. Her entire rise isn't an inspiring tale of vision or exceptional skill. It's a cautionary story of checkbox politics, surface appearances over real results, and massive hype completely replacing any substance.
You know what happened, Greg? The teleprompter went up and they cheered too long.
Yeah.
And she panicked because all she couldn't remember the connection word. So she panicked. This ain't close, I'm telling you.
And in a twisted way, that's exactly what makes her the perfect symbol of modern politics. Because Kamala Harris isn't some exception. She's the actual template. Politicians today aren't rewarded for real competence. They're rewarded purely for presentation. And Kamala is all presentation. Unfortunately for her, that image isn't leader of the free world. It's more like a panicked camp counselor desperately stalling for time until the bus finally arrives. She set out to make history, and she did succeed. Just absolutely not in the way she imagined. Instead of becoming a trailblazer, she transformed into the punchline. And maybe that's the perfect ending, because sometimes history doesn't crown a hero. It highlights a warning example. Kamala Harris will be remembered as a case study in exactly how not to lead, how not to inspire, and how not to connect. She wanted to be the moment. Instead, she became the meme.